As a PlayStation fan, this sucks.
Again, they're not even losing anything with this Activision deal.
Xbox so far has a bigger year lined up.
They're going to sabotage their own content.
It's fine if you don't enjoy the game. Go play something else.
They're treating Apex like it's Titanfall, bro.
I will buy any game this company makes. This is like PlayStation buying EA.
Revives Fortnite.
PlayStation has been beating them month by month.
Activision doesn't care about your opinion.
My personal game of the year.
One of the best games I think is released within the last 5 years.
All right, everyone, welcome to another week of Player versus Podcast. On this episode, we're going to run through all the biggest gaming news stories throughout the entire year. And 2022 was probably one of the craziest years yet, so you're not going to want to miss a beat on this podcast. But first, let's start off with a story. So, Dalton, I, like a dummy, went Christmas shopping the day before Christmas Eve. We're recording this now on the 23rd.
Ooh.
I just got done shopping for the last few things. I go into a Target, and guess what I see?
What?
A shelf damn near full of PlayStation 5s. The day before Christmas Eve, PlayStation 5s on the shelf. And fun fact for people who don't know, I work at Target, or at least I'm on my last week of Target, thankfully. So yay, I'm going to be doing this full time. And for the last month or two, we've had a bunch of PlayStation 5s in our stock room. You can literally walk up to the guy in electronics, ask for a PS5, and they'll go get it for you and ring you up. Like, they're not online only, and they're in stock, which is crazy because remember when Sony said, like, they don't expect to be back to normal until like the end of 2024? It seems like they're back to normal now. They're actually in really good shape in terms of stock. Just from what I've noticed at Target, I can't speak for Walmart and Best Buy and shit, of course.
Dude, that's insane. I mean, 2023 will be the year of being able to just literally grab a console when you want it.
I mean, like,
I think we're well past the age.
Yeah, I think, like, from what I heard, graphics cards and stuff are back to normal now. Like, we're slowly finally starting to get there, man. I'm so happy.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, I like not having to worry about having to go get a PlayStation or an Xbox or a graphics card, whatever is needed. Like, it's nice not to have to worry about it.
Definitely, dude. We were in dark times, man. Those dark times are past. I'm so happy.
Those dark times are behind us, and a lot of exciting stuff in 2023. But let's jump into like what happened in 2022.
Dude, this was like the wildest year. This was the year of acquisitions and almost acquisitions, and we'll touch on that in a second.
Yeah. So the way we're going to do it is every single month we'll just run down of like the biggest story, have a conversation about it, break it down, our opinions, and kind of look beyond of like what that means for the gaming industry.
Yeah. And this year kicked off with a bang. Probably the biggest one of the year with Microsoft agreeing to buy Activision, which we're still dealing with that in December, and we'll touch on everything that's happening, but it's just wild. What's your takeaways for that?
Might be the biggest news of 2022. Yeah. Let's be honest. We really started off hot. Absolutely. I think, it's so hard not to get into it, but it's really exciting to see a major acquisition like that. It'd be the largest buyout in history in terms of like the gaming world. So yeah, I wanted to go through. Me personally, absolutely. I know a lot of people are against it, but for $69 billion, that's a lot of money to be able to acquire all that IP.
And that
Microsoft better have a plan.
That came out of nowhere, because usually when Microsoft is going to make an acquisition, a lot of times it leaks, or any acquisition they leak. This one didn't leak. We literally woke up 7 in the morning, whatever time it was, and Xbox dropped this massive bombshell on us, and we're like, what? You know? So I know you're excited for it. I'm still a little indifferent because I don't know if I could, trust what Phil Spencer's saying about keeping Call of Duty on other consoles just yet. Hopefully he's a man of his word. He hasn't really lied to us like that just yet, but he has gone back on a few things that he said about it. So I'm going to wait and see what happens there. But what excites me is the revival of old IP, right? Like possibly bringing back like Guitar Hero and all those games we loved from Activision in the past that are dead and buried because they wanted to focus on Call of Duty for all these years, Yeah.
No, I remember seeing it. Like when the news broke, I really, really thought that was like a troll. Like I remember seeing it on Twitter when I woke up and I was like, no way. Like that's insane.
It just didn't seem real. Like, like even Bethesda was kind of a shock, but it was like, that one was like, okay, well, they have that history, and Bethesda's certainly not as big as Activision, right? This is like PlayStation buying EA. Like this was huge, right? Like
bigger than that. Activision Blizzard is a top 5 like it's one of the 5 most valuable gaming companies in the world, up there with Tencent, Sony, or like PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like that, it doesn't get bigger than that. And again, that's why Sony has been so heavy on the pushback.
It's
But yeah,
like I said, I see both sides of it. I could get why they're like a little hesitant. Like, can we really trust them to not do that? And we'll dive into it more when we get to like the December news, because there's a lot more to this acquisition. Just a whole bunch of madness throughout the entire year, and it's still crazy now. So we'll get to that in a second. But the biggest story of February, Elden Ring, just took the world by storm. Became a viral hit. The game was a masterpiece. 10 out of 10s everywhere. Already so early in the year, we had a Game of the Year contender,
which is rare. I feel like that doesn't happen very often. Usually it's middle, late, like end of the year type situation. But Elden Ring was on a lot of people's radar from 2021, and I think it really followed through and was even better than people expected. I remember, dude, even on TikTok, I remember watching a bunch of Elden Ring clips. It took over the internet.
Every other video was Elden Ring. Like,
for a Dark Souls game, for a single player difficult game like that, that is rare. Dude, super rare.
They've FromSoft has come a long way. They went from being like this company that makes very niche, very difficult games like Dark Souls to now making the biggest games on the planet. When you see that FromSoft card come up before a new game reveal, like now you're bracing for like a masterpiece of a game. Like when we're at the Game Awards, and I've never been excited for an Armored Core game, right? Not my thing. Never really played them, but like after Elden Ring, I will buy any game this company makes. Period.
Dude, it kind of reminds me of like making content. When you make content and your content is good consistently, you expect everything from that content creator to be good. It's the Mr. Beast philosophy. That's why he's like, you don't need an upload schedule. You just need to make good content. And that's what From Software is doing. They're making really good games. And I would agree. I wasn't like, if Armored Core was announced 2 years ago, I'd be like, okay, like what about it? You know what I mean? But I think now you're expecting a very beautiful, difficult game for sure, but something that really immerses you like Elden Ring did.
Like, and then you hear the news of Armored Core. Like Elden Ring had George R.R. Martin be involved with that, and now for Armored Core, Bill Clinton. Come on. I'm kidding.
Jeez. Imagine that kid
I
knew.
had to throw Bill Clinton in there. It's just, dude, so funny.
Yeah. All right. Jumping into March. Fortnite Zero Build gets implemented.
Dude,
I think revives Fortnite.
Definitely.
Fortnite was technically like still increasing in player base, but everybody's excuse was it's too sweaty. I can't compete. The building is too hard. So what did they do? They said, oh yeah, we're just going to remove building. And I think they did it really well too, because they removed building for a couple days. So everyone had to play it. And it gave them a trial.
Every streamer who used to play Fortnite came back. Everybody came back. And me, as somebody who wanted to love the game, but never really put that much work into it because I suck at building and I never wanted to get good at it. As soon as Zero Build was out, I was all over that. And I know I'm not the only one. Like that player base had to increase substantially after Zero Build, you know?
Oh, I'm with you. I mean, I personally wouldn't touch Fortnite if it wasn't for Zero Build at this point. I truly believe that's revived the game, and it will continue to push it on for years to come. Because I think if building were still around right now, like, and that's the only game mode you could play, we'd probably look about 3/4 of the player base that they have right now. It would have significantly decreased. All you would have been talking about was the collaborations. I mean, don't get me wrong, the collaborations are amazing. Best community support, in my opinion. But to listen to your community after a game's been released for, what, 3-4 years at that point, and say, oh yeah, we're going to continue to innovate and completely go away with what our game was originally supposed to be.
I compare Fortnite to like being that little kid who doesn't get, is left out of Christmas or doesn't get presents for Christmas, right? I'm looking at everybody who loves and plays Fortnite, and they're getting all these awesome collabs and these events that I keep seeing clips of on TikTok. And I'm like, damn, really wish I could be part of that. That looks really cool. Too bad I hate building and will never be good at that game. When Zero Build came out, it changed everything. Now I could be part of all these events, and millions of players who stopped playing Fortnite for that reason can now be part of these epic events,
I would agree. I think also Fortnite did their collabs this year a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
tastefully. I think previously we saw the community also complain that felt like an
Yeah.
ad, and it very much was an ad. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Versus now, I think you're really starting to get collaborations where you're like, no, I just really like this
Yeah.
character, and it's in the battle pass. So it's like me grinding and having a good time with it. I get to now play as that character rather than have to go spend another $20
Yeah, they're
on it.
putting much more thought into it for sure. Like with all these collaborations, with everything they implement, like they really pay homage to the characters they're portraying, you know, through these collaborations. So really respect that.
Yeah, I think Epic Games has done a great
Yeah.
job. And with that, jumps us right into what month are we on?
Yeah.
April? Yeah. So in April, Unreal Engine 5 releases, which for right now is man, it doesn't really mean a
Yeah.
whole lot, but for the future, it means so
Yeah.
much. The realism that comes out of this engine is insane. Fortnite is one of the first games that puts their game on this engine, and it looks beautiful. And they just released
Yeah.
5.1, and it looks even better.
So you see the before and afters for Fortnite. It's insane. Like, and
Yeah.
these crazy people out there that are saying OG Fortnite looks better than Fortnite now, you got to stop being blinded by nostalgia. You know that's not true. Stop lying to yourself. The game looks incredible right
Yeah.
now. Like it's amazing on everything except for Switch, and that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, Switch doesn't count. Honestly, when I say all major platforms, Switch
Yeah,
is not on that list. Like they're not a
not
major
until they
platform
get a
anymore.
Switch Pro, please. Like nah.
Dude, honestly. But yeah, Unreal Engine 5 it continues to be a game changer for the gaming industry. We're seeing some beautiful games built off of that
Yeah,
engine. And it's weird because before we didn't really notice off of like Unreal Engine 4 that it was like that we needed an
yeah,
upgrade. But looking at it now, any games that have been built on Unreal Engine 4, we're like,
yeah.
what's wrong with that? You
I
know?
can't wait to see like what future games look like, especially from the Coalition, who, you know, they've mastered that with Gears of War, you know, using that engine with Unreal Engine 4 and all that kind of stuff. So I can't wait to see what they do with Unreal 5 for whatever their next
Yeah,
project is, whether that's the next Gears or a new IP or whatnot.
I'm with
Yeah.
you. Really, really excited for what Unreal Engine 5 is going to do for the gaming industry.
So speaking of acquisitions, because again, just remember this
Yeah.
is a big acquisition year, or at least talks of them. EA at
Yeah.
one point was in talks with NBC Universal of all companies about either a merger or getting acquired, and it wasn't just them. Apparently, they also had the same deal. Yeah,
Apparently,
they reached out to Apple and Disney with the same deal. Obviously, no takers. EA is still, you know, a
yeah.
solo company or whatnot, but the fact that they were looking to get bought out, like, what does that tell you?
I think that they picked some weird
Yeah,
partners. Again, NBC Universal, Apple, and Disney, all of which really aren't gaming
yeah,
focused. So it tells me that it almost feels like they're going for more of this motion
hmm
picture style, like Disney and even Apple is getting into a lot of the TV series style
yeah.
stuff.
I mean,
I think that they want more live adaptation. That's kind of like where that partnership was going to
yeah.
come into.
Apple makes no sense. I get it, like Apple wants to venture into video games to have Apple Arcade. Like they've made that known they want to go into that market. Wouldn't make sense for me.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be exciting for me. NBC Universal for sure wouldn't be exciting for me. But Disney,
No.
little something there. And I'll tell you why. Because look how great Jedi Fallen Order is and Jedi Survivor is. Imagine if EA became this exclusive company that just makes Disney property games with the right talent involved, because of course it could go south and go the way of Battlefront 2 and other, you know, failed EA
Yeah,
IP, you know, projects. But
that sounds
yeah,
great, but you got to remember that EA already had an exclusive
yeah,
partnership to build like Star Wars
yeah,
games, and they completely botched it. Lucasfilms was like,
yeah,
anybody can actually make games for us
yeah.
now, and then they're like, oh, actually, we will make a great game with our best developers in Respawn.
It started off rough, and I think where it fell off was management getting involved at EA. Right? They had such potential. They had Amy Hennig working on a Star Wars game that looked great before it got canceled, and this was the team that made the Dead Space games that was going to make this. Right? Super promising. They dropped it because it was single player, which in hindsight is like hypocritical now because they're really only focusing on single player besides their sports games now. But they felt that Battlefront 2 was just a mess at the start, redeemed themselves eventually, and is actually a fantastic game now. A lot of people want a Battlefront 3. So it started off rough, is definitely a lot better now. Like, I'd like to see the EA now with the right talent do something with Disney, like, and not just Star Wars, Marvel, all that kind of stuff. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they do have a Marvel project they're working on together, but I can't remember which one it is.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
So I think they're working on Marvel's, like, so there's already a partnership there. So the Disney one makes sense to me.
Is it Iron Man? Sorry.
Yeah, EA Motive. So EA Motive, the developers behind Star Wars Squadrons, is making an Iron Man game. So that, and there might be another one. I could be wrong, but they already have like a partnership there. So Disney of the three makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, while we're talking about EA and Respawn, I have a gripe with EA and Respawn.
Oh, I do too. You know what one of my favorite
Apex Legends has been completely forgotten about, I feel like, within 2023 or within 2022. Yep. What happened? You were the best Battle Royale in 2021. You were absolutely crushing it. The community support was amazing. And now you're treating Apex like it's Titanfall, bro. You're forgetting about it after it's made you $2 billion within 3 years of its launch. It's the best Battle Royale out there, and you can't even fix your simple bugs because half your dev team is like, no, we're going to go focus on the new Star Wars game instead. Rather than expanding out, hiring more, or pivoting and being like, okay, like this team is staying with Apex and we're hiring an entirely new team or a new dev like under the EA umbrella, right? That's not Respawn to do Jedi Fallen or to do Jedi Survivor.
I don't want to put the tinfoil hat on and play conspiracy theorists, but there's something going on with EA, and I think they could still be looking for an acquisition or a merger because besides all this with Apex, right? They haven't had an event in how long now? Like
Apex?
No, like just EA, just an EA event. They did nothing. They did nothing at E3, nothing for Gamescom, nothing in the beginning of the year. They have been radio silent, and any announcements they make are Twitter announcements, which you know I fucking despise. Little side tangent. There's nothing less hype than a Twitter or blog post announcement of a game. Please, gaming producers, developers, stop doing that. It's not hype. Save your announcements for E3, Summer Games Fest, or the Game Awards. Stop this. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. I hear your gripe on that. But you got to also remember timing of those events are very far apart and then really close together. E3 and Summer Games Fest, back to back. Game Awards, really far away. I mean, they're partnered with Microsoft within like the Game Pass era, like side. So why not announce your games also at Xbox's showcase?
They could do that because PlayStation isn't having any events either. So you can't really hold out for PlayStation to announce your stuff for you.
No. And while we're on the topic, PlayStation was quiet in 2022, and rightfully so, because they're worried about the Activision deal. They had one showcase. Typically, what they have 3 to 4.
One freaking showcase, dude. And like it
wasn't that great.
Yeah, it was okay, but like every September for the last couple years, they've had their big PlayStation showcase, not a state of play, a showcase, which is like the last couple have shown games like Wolverine and Spider-Man 2. Like that's how big those shows are, right? Nothing this year. September it came, we're like, okay, here we go. Any week now they're going to announce it, and then September went and nothing. And then we're like, maybe it's just delayed a little bit. October came and went. November came and went. We're now almost into 2023, and we still haven't had a showcase, and we know nothing about PlayStation's games besides Spider-Man 2. Like, there's been no update at all. God of War has released, done its thing, won many awards. Spider-Man 2 is coming, and that is all we know from Sony. Like, what do you think about this? Why are they doing this?
I have a bold prediction for 2023. I think we see a lot of the same from Sony, and they might even push games into 2024 to boost their case against Activision with Microsoft. They're going to sabotage their own content and say, we're not going to release this. I mean, we haven't shown you it, but it was going to release in 2023, but now it's going to release in 2024. So that way we don't have to show all these games that are actually coming out to support that. Hey, we do have a lot of exclusives and great games that can support us even without, again, they're not even losing anything with this Activision deal.
I don't know.
So, I mean, I was surprised as you are. Like, I was very surprised that we didn't see it, but I understand why. Yeah. You don't want to strengthen Microsoft's case when you're already fighting it to say, hey, look, we make some great exclusives. Look how excited people are about our games. No, they want to seem like the kid that gets nothing from the candy store.
It sucks, man. As a PlayStation fan, this sucks. Like, yeah, I'm excited for Spider-Man 2, but like, what else is coming? I'm tired of rumors and leaks. Like, where's that Last of Us multiplayer game, right? Like, that's supposed to come out in 2023, I thought, but I don't know. Anyway, moving on to July, we had the big titans, juggernauts, if you will, of Elden Ring and God of War, 2 massive games. But did you know there was a third that launched in July?
Wait, we didn't talk about June. Whoa. We did not talk about June.
Oh, shit.
Okay. It's okay. I know you're excited about July, but
hold on.
We got to stick with PlayStation.
Cut all that out. Let's start over.
Nah. Keep that in. You're excited. It's cool.
All right.
Go
ahead.
Jumping into June. We're sticking with PlayStation. PlayStation releases their new PlayStation Plus tier system. It was rumored for quite a while, and we thought it was going to be more of a Game Pass competitor, but it's really not. It really just takes all of the stuff that they were doing before and packs it into 3 options, and the more you spend, the more things you get. You know what I mean? You got your basic PlayStation Plus like they had before. You got your extras where you get the entire library, not even the entire library, it's like a couple hundred games, and then you get the premium tier, which gets you cloud gaming kind of through PlayStation Now, and then also like older games and more titles.
I'm in the minority on this, but I think it's been great so far in terms of like the games they've been releasing on every tier. Like, honestly, I wouldn't even say it's a hot take. If you look at the lineups, it's fact. Compare Game Pass lineups for this past year to PlayStation Plus lineups, and PlayStation has been beating them month by month. Like, the games that have been coming out have been stellar, and it's continuing into next year with January having Jedi Fallen Order 2, Fallout 76, which I heard is a much better game now, and indie hit Axiom Verge 2. Like, every month on the basic tier and then the more expensive tiers, they've been having some stellar games there. And you can make the argument that a lot of those games have already came to Game Pass in the past. We get that. And there's also the argument that Sony is paying a huge lump sum to these companies to have their games on here and not on Game Pass. So Game Pass, as we've seen, has been suffering from the Sony, pocketbook of money they're paying these devs and stuff. But dude, it's been a stellar year, and if like Sony could keep this traction, that's great. Still not a fan of the tier system. I wish they really would have just like cloned Game Pass pretty much and just had it kind of be like the same thing, but it's fine. Like, I got premium and I haven't even thought about canceling it because the offerings every month have been pretty good. So
no, I would agree. And I think that they have to do that. I think that 2023 will be even bigger for PlayStation Plus. That is going to be their focus, as it should be, because again, they don't want to strengthen like Microsoft's case here. So they're going to focus on the IP that they have already developed and push that thing like crazy. They want to acquire more users. And yeah, technically PlayStation Plus has more users than what Game Pass does. So having this kind of merger made sense without having an entire new service. But I think that in 2023, we're going to see a lot more like first-party titles added. We'll probably see God of War added, I would like to say, by July. That's my guess. I mean, they've got an expansion coming for God of War. Not sure if you saw that. That got announced today. But in terms of PlayStation Plus, I'm a fan, but I am also weary of post 2023. What does this service actually provide to you that like you need it for?
This is going to be the biggest test for them because this is going to be a very big year for Game Pass, right? If every first-party Xbox game hits the target of releasing this year, which God, I hope so. I don't want this to be another, hey guys, sorry, just wait till next year again. I don't want that to happen again. So if, all these games hit their target, which we got Starfield, Forza Motorsport 8, Redfall, maybe a couple others, Hellblade.
Did you hear about Redfall?
Yeah, it's getting delayed, but it's still in 2023. So
yeah, okay. So a rumored delay, internal delay, but also they didn't put out a release date to it already. So you know what I mean? Like, can you really say it's a delay when you don't have an actual date that it's coming out on? So, it's still projected for between May and June, which is still nice. But yeah, 2023 for Redfall.
And all those games coming to Game Pass day one. So it's going to be a very big year for Xbox. How is PlayStation going to stack up? If you're right and they release God of War on there, that's going to be fucking huge. That's going to be huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a big year for both, But if all Sony really has, and going back to their first party offering next year, is Spider-Man 2, as big as that game is and how as great as it's going to be, Xbox so far has a bigger year lined up, and this is coming from a PlayStation guy, dude. Redfall, Starfield, Forza Motorsport 8, Hellblade 2, maybe Fable and Perfect Dark, maybe not, but maybe like.
Don't ever say Fable, bro. That game is never coming.
I know. I'm just really optimistic.
I know. Look, I think Spider-Man 2 wins Game of the Year.
You think so? No, not.
That's my bold prediction for 2023.
It will win it if Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom gets delayed. Legend of Zelda games, they win Game of the Year all the time, and they deserve it. They're incredible games. I just wish this new one would release on a Switch Pro. Again, Nintendo, please release a Switch Pro. But yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is going to be incredible. It's hard to see any game right now really going head to head with that and beating it. The only games I could think of, as you said, Spider-Man 2, Starfield, and I don't know, Hogwarts Legacy. Maybe?
No.
Hogwarts Legacy is looking really promising. I don't know if you've seen the gameplay walkthrough. It looks really good.
Yeah, it looks amazing, but I don't think it has potential. I think that it ends up being more like Stray.
We had the juggernauts that were Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok. But did you know there was a third? There was a third Titan among Titans, and it's called Stray. This game was almost, not quite up there, almost as viral as Elden Ring, if you remember when it came out in July. It was everywhere on TikTok. Everywhere. And the game actually turned out to be really great. It actually got nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah. I would argue that what Stray is to PlayStation is High on Life to Xbox.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. That is...
They're right there.
That is the best comparison I've heard yet. That's exactly what it is. What we're seeing with High on Life right now is exactly what Stray was and what Multiverses was when that launched. Like, you had these games, you had these games that launched throughout the year that were just massive viral sensations, and then they died and went away. and
but look, if I sat here and said, you know what, Daniel, in 2022, we're gonna see a game where you simulate as a cat be nominated for Game of the Year, you're like, no way. You know what I mean?
I love cats, but I can't see it.
Also, dogs over cats any day.
No, come on. And cats are the best.
What? You're a cat person?
I have a cat. Dude, cats are a lazy person's pet, man. I don't have to do anything but change his litter box and feed him. He does the rest. I don't got to bathe him. He bathes himself. Dude, I love cats because I'm lazy. I don't have energy for a dog to walk them and clean up their shit all over the house. I can't do it, bro.
Dogs over cats any day. First off, I think cats are really annoying.
No. Not if you get a cuddly
I also think they're really mean most of the time versus dogs just want to cuddle and have a good time. And cats like act like they own the place.
They do. And they do own the place. Let's be real. Look, cats, some of them, they're rude. But when you get like the one I had, like a cute little cuddly one who just lays there by you while you play video games, it's the best thing in the world, man. I love it.
Okay, have you? So our editor Mike, he's got cats and a dog, and apparently he completely ignores the dog. Like, he'll come home, the dog will try and like say hello to him, and he'll just blow past it, won't even acknowledge it, but he'll like show affection and love to all of his cats.
Cats are the best. Mike knows this. Come on, Mike.
Can you not? No! Babe, are you hungry? Say yeah!
He sends me some funny ass things with his cat, but still, dogs over cats any day. Either way, Stray was one of the best games of the year, and it came out of nowhere.
For sure.
I really enjoyed it. And I think that we can see more of those one-off, not necessarily indie games, but like the games that are coming from developers that aren't major juggernauts. You know what I mean? I guess it's all indie developers, but yeah, I bet you we see more indie games hit the mainstream like Stray did in 2023.
It's great to see, and that's a great point you made. It is great to see indies start to be on that same caliber as mainstream games, right? The reception, and you were in the room with me, the reception for Hades 2 was just as big as any AAA game that was announced at Game Awards. Like,
let's be honest. We were in a room full of a bunch of people that voted for Final Fantasy as the best community support over Fortnite. They have no clue what they're talking about.
Hey, but Hades was awesome. Like,
yeah, Hades was awesome. Maybe that's a little excessive, but still, I think that a general gamer, not an anime fanboy. Even if you like anime, I would say more people lean towards the Fortnite, Call of Duty multiplayer side than what these a lot of these indie games are. But again, I think Stray really kind of cracked into the mainstream and showed what's possible for other indie games.
It shows in the numbers. Like pretty much every single player game, really, in the grand scheme of things, is niche, right? Like God of War Ragnarok sold what 5 million copies. Compare that with the last Call of Duty game, tens of millions, right? Minecraft, hundreds of millions. Grand Theft Auto, hundreds of millions. Like, yeah, it's a very when you think of it, kind of a niche thing. Single player games nowadays, even though that's what games used to be, was all single player. So but
when you think of the greatest games of all time, do you consider do you take into account number of units sold?
No.
No? Mm-hmm. So if I ask you, is Minecraft one of the greatest games of all time, you say no?
Not. To me, it's not. Like I don't factor in the number of copies sold, because then it's then your top 10 games of all time would be Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty Black Ops, you know what I mean?
You'd be surprised. Call of Duty only has one game in the top, I think, 25 of best-selling. I would argue that Minecraft and GTA are in the top best games of all time. I think that being able to captivate a large player base shows how great your game is.
Yeah, I could see that point too. But for me, it's just when I look at the best games of all time, I kind of look at it the same lens of Game of the Year, of I'm looking at story, I'm looking at art direction, I'm looking at audio, I'm looking at all the factors about the game, not necessarily the outside stuff, the sales and how viral was it, what kind of impact did it make on the gaming culture. That stuff I probably should factor, but I don't. I just judge the game as the game itself when I craft a list. So
yeah, but even then, I guess for me, again, being more that multiplayer side, you have to factor in what your community looks like and what your audience looks like, and how many players that has. Versus if you're just playing a single player game, it makes sense. Where you're just going off of story, art direction, game design, how really it just makes you feel.
I can see your point. Minecraft sold hundreds of millions of copies for a reason. If it sucked as a game, it wouldn't sell that much, right? You know what I mean? So you definitely do have a point there for sure.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Hopping into August. Now, not a whole lot happened in August, but the biggest thing that I know that I covered was that Sony was sued $6 billion in the UK.
It's a lot of money.
And they were sued for pretty much creating a monopoly with their PlayStation Store. Because you couldn't buy digital codes online or in-store anymore, Sony could charge literally whatever they wanted within their store. Versus Xbox and Nintendo, you could still buy a digital code on something like Amazon or Best Buy or whatever it may be. So then you have all these players who are like, well, I want to buy this game, and you're going to charge me $130. You're going to charge me $50 when the actual physical copy is $25. You know what I mean? That just doesn't make sense. And especially with us moving into a digital world, Xbox Series S and a digital PS5. So yeah, they were sued $6 billion in the UK. I don't think we have a resolution yet, but that was a massive, massive storyline. And I think that if we do see that actually go through court in 2023, and there's something that happens from it, we'll see also lawsuits in the US and a variety of other countries for creating a monopoly, which is something you can't do, but would also really hurt Sony's case in their Activision Blizzard argument.
Yeah, it's rough, man. I know when I think of PC, right? I know a lot of people don't like having 10 different launchers. If they could, they would get everything on Steam. But if you're thinking about it from buying a game perspective, we have so many options, right? If the game is full price on Steam, you could go to GOG and probably get it for way cheaper. You go to Epic Game Store, probably get it for free as a free title that month. Options are nice. PlayStation is not having a lot of options right now, and they're charging full price for a lot of games until they have right now their big holiday sale. But are people really going to wait till December or whenever they have these big sales to buy games? No. If I want a game and it's been out for a while, I kind of expect it to be a little bit cheaper. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, those are anti-competitive practices when you don't have an opportunity to go buy elsewhere.
For sure. For sure.
But yeah. Again, nothing. I mean, August was definitely more of a hangover of everything that happened within the first couple months. But then we get into September,
And
we have September. We had the biggest leak in gaming history, I would say.
This was the
GTA 6 gets leaked at, what is it, like 1 a.m. PST?
Yeah.
And it's hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
It turns out to be a teenager in the UK who's able to hack Rockstar using a cell phone and acquire source code as well.
Wow. That,
I think we were all in shock as like gaming news creators. We were like, what?
like
this can't be real, right?
Dude, like you know, we say a lot of big words when we make our videos and, you know, try to get as many views as possible. It's called the hook for the uninitiated, right? But when you see people saying this is the biggest leak of all time, that's not to get you to watch the video. That was fact. That is the biggest
100%.
Fucking leak of all time of any game. And it just so happened to be the most anticipated game probably of all time right now, which is GTA 6.
And we learned a lot about the game.
Yeah.
We learned a ton, a lot more than what I think people were expecting to learn. Also, I found it so funny that the community was like, this looks horrible. Yeah. Like, are you dumb? Like, that's not what the game's actually going to look like. It's not finished for a reason.
The graphics are the last thing that get worked on a video game, just for those who don't know. Like, dude, and what a wild month that was. Just covering that, me and you both made multiple videos, and me and you both got strikes to hell for it on TikTok.
That was the first time I've ever seen that. It's like even on TikTok. TikTok is very lenient of like, hey, you could get away with some copyright and stuff. You know what I mean?
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, no, we don't talk about that. Anyways, but yeah, we got a DMCA takedown. Everyone did on all platforms. Like Rockstar was like, what do we do? Like,
I didn't.
What's going on?
Me and Dalton didn't even know that DMCA takedowns existed on TikTok until our videos got taken down by Rockstar. We're like, oh, that's a thing here. Okay, not posting the stuff on the leaks anymore.
If that video was still up, might be my most popular video of all time. It had 2.6 million views in literally 8 hours.
Oh man,
I was like, we're going to the moon.
Yeah, I'm like. Speaking of which, Mike, as you edit this video, please don't put GTA 6 leaked gameplay in here and get this video taken down.
Dude, while we're on the topic of leaked gameplay and whatnot, I remember afterwards when all this stuff was kind of being, like the dust was settling with all of it, and the community was just like, the game looks horrible, like nobody's going to want to play this, we're going to wait 10 years for this garbage, like what the heck? And we had all these developers come out, and they were like, well, let us show you what our game looked like without our actual graphics attached to it. And everyone was like, oh. And like you had devs from all these different studios coming together and be like, fuck the gamers. Like, we hate you guys in a way, but you also pay our bills, so we can't say
sometimes
that.
As gamers, like, we have to be checked. Like, they got to let us know what's up, because a lot of people were making a lot of assumptions, thinking the games would look like shit, not knowing that graphics are the last thing. Like, I knew that just because I'm in this industry and I follow that stuff. But the casual person looking at these leaks is like, that looks like shit. Well, let them teach you something real quick. Graphics are the last thing. And I guarantee you, when we actually get the official trailer, which hopefully it's 2023, the game is going to look incredible. Because
another prediction for 2023, we get our trailer. It's going to be like a random day in October. Or September.
Yeah, it's gonna be what I despise the most, a fucking Twitter blog post. But you know, I'm thinking it's gonna get announced in 2023 too. So we'll see.
Bro, I think that Rockstar's gonna do a showcase.
I don't think so. They never do. See,
no, not their own showcase, but they're gonna like hop on, and it's gonna be a little surprise. We're all gonna be watching, and we're gonna see the Rockstar logo pop up. And they've teased us so many times that we're all gonna be like, it's another GTA 5 expansion, like they did recently. I'm not sure if you saw that whole thing.
This is what I despise is like whenever I see these podcasts do prediction shows for PlayStation events. Specifically, it's a lot of times it's the next PlayStation event or whatever. They always say like Rockstar is going to come out and show like, okay, if you look at the history, besides Agent, their canceled game, and the weird GTA 5 partnership stuff when the PlayStation 5 first launched, Rockstar has never been on at any event. They never even had their own showcase. The way they announce stuff is a Twitter post with a YouTube video. Hey, here's GTA 6. Enjoy. Boom. 3-minute video that's gonna melt your eyeballs and get you rock hard. That's what they do. That's the Rockstar MO.
I'm rock hard just talking about it. Not gonna lie.
Rockstar doesn't need to pay for marketing. The game,
No,
the
I
game
know.
like sells itself, dude. Like every time, it's crazy.
When you have a 10-year anticipation though,
Yeah,
from this game or your last game to the new
yeah,
game, you got to do something
dude.
special. And
I
I would like to hope that they're gonna do.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know me, I'm a showman. Like if I was in charge of
Yeah.
Rockstar, I would make this the biggest event on the planet. I get a live musical band to fucking be there. It would be the biggest thing on the planet. But Rockstar is just like, here you go. Here's a tweet with the YouTube video. Enjoy.
You know what I'd love to see them do? Like this is something I don't think we've ever seen in the gaming industry. Do a red carpet event.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah, dude. Imagine them doing a red carpet event.
Yeah,
that'd be so sick.
definitely, dude. Like they have the money, they have the resources. They're the biggest developer on the planet. Like, dude, do something epic with GTA 6. You know?
Yeah. If they did a red carpet, it'd be like, okay, we're gonna have all these creators fly out, all these like major people in the industry, and then you just sit in this theater and you get to watch a 15-minute trailer of GTA 6.
Which, by the way, Rockstar, huge fan. So if you did have an event like that, I'd love to be a part of it. Just
pretty sick. We would love to cover it. We do have 1.5 million followers across our socials together.
Sorry about posting the GTA 6 leaks. No hard feelings. The video's gone.
Look, everyone did it.
Everyone did
you
it.
can't get mad at us. Yeah, come on.
All right.
Cool.
Moving on to October, and I'm going to let you take the wheel here because I know you got a lot to get off your chest about this. But the biggest news of October was the launch of Modern Warfare 2, which launched to positive reviews. Everybody loved it. I loved it. Everything was great until a couple weeks later, and I'll let you take it from here.
Look, Modern Warfare 2 is great. Period. That's what we have to say about Modern Warfare 2. I am so sick and tired of watching all of this Call of Duty content about just everyone complaining about Call of Duty. Like, play the game how it is, or don't play it at all.
Exactly.
Activision doesn't care about your opinion to the point where they're going to make the game exactly how you want it. So get off your high horse and stop trying to change the entire game. And if you're a content creator within the Call of Duty space, all love, but focus on making better content then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
Stop worrying about, oh, if I complain about Call of Duty and I mention, just like everyone else, that we want loadouts back or this back or whatever, then like, I'm going to get views and clicks off of it.
Yeah.
There are no more loadouts, so people are having a hard time making content with the game.
It's
Modern Warfare 2 is one of the best Call of Duties we've seen in a long time. I would argue, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is the best graphics we've seen out of a Call of Duty. Has a great campaign. Has an excellent multiplayer. Very innovative.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't say 3 nice words about the game, and instead you're going to go talk about how everything needs to change all the time. Activision can't even breathe right at this point, bro. Like, nothing that they do is going to satisfy the community. And another gripe that I have about the community right now is stop trying to make this game every other game. You know what I mean? Warzone 2, for example. They were trying to innovate with AI, with no buy stations, having loadouts and whatnot. And what do? You complain 24/7 until you get your way and you're like, well, it just kind of feels the same, but like, I don't really like this map. So can you bring back Verdansk? You just want to feel 2020 again. This is the whole thing with Call of Duty. Again, I'm ranting right now because I'm so frustrated and annoyed because Call of Duty has been great this year.
Hey, dude, it's frustrating speaking to you guys, if you're watching, you Call of Duty guys, as a fellow content creator, right? When all your videos and your streams are about how much Call of Duty sucks, or what's the best weapon in the game now, you are just like every other creator out there. You're not unique. And yeah, you might get views, but you got no longevity coming with that. It's fine if you don't enjoy the game. Go play something else. That's it.
Yes.
It's just that simple. Why are you going to keep sitting there shitting on it because it's the only thing you can get views on? Let's be real. If that's the case, sucks for you. Find something else to play and try to build an audience from scratch. Stop complaining about the game because you look like every other YouTuber. It just makes no sense.
And again, no hate to any specific content creators or anything going on. I just think it's across the board. I often see so many people complaining about the game.
Yeah.
And it's like, go play something else then.
Yeah. Go play something else.
Also, the community doesn't want to hear it. As a casual, I don't care about your opinion.
Yeah.
I don't care that you don't like the game. I'm enjoying it. And that's like the news style. it's one thing to be like, yeah, here's the update, or like, here's the thing that's broken.
Yeah.
Let's hope Activision fixes it. I mean, the game, just like everything else that's released within the last 2 to 3 years, has had bugs and been somewhat broken. Yeah. It's expected at this point. It's not great, but it's expected.
It's a bummer, dude. Like, not even just with Call of Duty, with games in general. When you're really, like, the casual person is really enjoying a game, and they go on TikTok, and every video is about how bad that game is. Like, just imagine it from their perspective.
You know what happens?
They're not playing it 20 hours a day like you are. You're streaming it 20 hours a day. You're playing it to death. So you're getting sick of it because you're playing it so much. You're hating it. You're finding flaws in it. But the casual person who plays for 2 hours a day is not seeing those flaws. They're enjoying their time with it. And then they go to TikTok and have to hear your shit. Like, come on, man.
And you know what happens? Those people who have 2 hours a day or less to play video games and they choose to play Call of Duty, then when they're at work scrolling on TikTok and seeing you shit all over Call of Duty, that's what gets in their head. Then you go to Twitter and it's just an entire feed of people complaining about Call of Duty. Again, shut up and play a different game if you don't like it. Stop playing, take a break, do something.
Like, there's definitely valid criticisms, but like the stuff that they're complaining about is just because of how much they're playing the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's insanity, man. It's insanity, and I'm tired of seeing it. Just like I'm tired of seeing, like, well, here's the best weapon, here's the best loadout. It's all repetitive, and it's oh god, I hate it.
You know what I say? Who cares? At this point, I'm just trying to play the games that I enjoy, and the content that I'm making now is like, I'm going to give information that I think is most relevant to a general gamer.
If you think you can make a better game than Infinity Ward, Treyarch, whoever made this last Call of Duty, right? Then go make your own game like Dr. Disrespect is doing. Not saying his is going to be great, but like, that's what he's doing. Yeah. He hates Call of Duty. He's making his own damn game. Go do the same. Go learn how to be a game developer and go make your own shit. If you think you could do it better than that.
Guarantee it's much harder than people think it is. But I'm going to close my rant off with, I am really enjoying Modern Warfare 2.
I am too.
We've played it together a few times. I think it's great.
Yeah, but we played.
Does it have flaws? What game does
we played casually. We've played like we played one night and then another night and then with just a couple hours here and there. When I played on my own, I played maybe for like an hour just when I have free time between the baby and work and everything like that. And I have a blast, man. I don't see it. I don't see the complaints.
I think people are taking it too serious too. Call of Duty is supposed to be an arcade shooter, which means hop into a game, spend 5-10 minutes max, not play super sweaty, and just run and gun everywhere.
Yeah, it's like,
pick whatever your favorite gun is and just play. You know what I mean?
Like,
I don't care if it's a meta or you have all these attachments. Just play. Because for me, if I'm talking about a competitive game, let's take Valorant, for example. Valorant is a 1 hour time commitment, and you are playing very competitively in ranked. It's a very different game style. I'd understand if this entire community was also on Valorant and being like complaining because they're competitively playing.
Yeah.
Call of Duty's not supposed to be competitive. It's supposed to be an arcade shooter. So let the casuals enjoy the game.
Yeah. It's just like, dude, not everybody's playing it 12 hours a day like you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
criticisms are fine, like you said. But again, Modern Warfare 2 is the best Call of Duty we've had in a long time.
Yeah, it is. It deserves more respect than it's getting, man. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like it's not gonna get there until maybe Xbox owns it, and then they're just gonna have like blinders on of like, well, Xbox owns it. This is gonna be the best Call of Duty ever. Until like 2 weeks later again, and they're like, we need this back. We need this back. And then you get it back, and then you hate and then I kind of wish it was like this. And you're never gonna be satisfied because you're playing the game 15 hours a day. And you're getting sick of it. If you play any game, if I go out and play Pokemon Violet and stream that for 15 hours a day, I'm going to criticize the hell out of it because I'm just tired of playing it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Here's how the COD cycle goes nowadays. Hype up the game. Game releases. People love the game. People then start shitting on the game. New game starts to leak. Everyone hypes up the game. Game releases. It's just a circle. Like, it goes around and around because it's like, one, you're so excited about the next one and you're leaking everything and you're talking about everything. Cool. But when it actually comes to having those features and those things, there are really no surprises. It's like knowing all your presents on Christmas Day. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you want to feel that sense of enjoyment and excitement, then don't listen to the leaks and don't listen to the information. Or don't talk about the new Call of Duty that's coming out in 9 months from now. No, let's talk about the Call of Duty that's at hand. Enjoy it. Make fun content out. You know who I think makes really good content out of Call of Duty?
Who?
Sally is a dog.
Yeah. 100%.
None of his content, most of his content, is not talking about Call of Duty sucks, blah, 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 blah. No, it's like him telling a story about his experience in Call of Duty. And it's fun to watch. It's entertaining. Great content.
Another mention, Lucci, our boy Lucci on TikTok. I love all these creators who do innovative, creative things with Call of Duty. Sketches, even if it's fake, not saying Lucci stuff is fake, but like, you know, just turning it into like sketch comedy or whatever they do. Like when you're unique with your content with Call of Duty like that, I respect the hell out of you, because you're not like everybody else talking about what's the best loadout and Call of Duty sucks. Like it's so every time I see Lucci's videos, I'm like, yes, this is where I want to be. I want to be in the Call of Duty happy place right here. You know?
Yeah. I'm not sure if you've seen his videos, but his name is Slater.
Yeah.
But he does a voice changer to sound like a kid and goes into like Warzone lobbies. Love that content.
Yeah.
Again, it's unique. The guys that are doing it really well are growing these massive followings, and it's for a reason.
Yeah.
So if you're struggling with views in Call of Duty, look internally. I mean, I know personally, I don't ever say it's the algorithm's fault.
Mm-hmm.
No, because at the end of the day, I can make better content, and I got to learn from my content and reevaluate it. Maybe Call of Duty, maybe me talking about Apex isn't what I want to do anymore.
Yeah.
So don't talk about Apex.
Just know, like, if all your content has to do with being negative about Call of Duty, that is what you're, just like an actor in Hollywood, you're going to be typecast as that for your content for the rest of your life. Absolutely. The second you start making videos where you're not negative, you're not going to get views. So look internally, like he said, is this the type of creator you want to be? Shitting on games all the time. If it is, go for it. All right.
Well, I'm going to pivot. Let's go right into November. And one of the best games I think is released within the last 5 years, God of War Ragnarok.
And it was to be expected. This is one of those that like we kind of just knew would be a home run. The first one was so great, right? And it's just like it'd be very hard to mess up on the second one. We've seen people mess up on sequels before, but I think everybody was fairly confident. Early impressions started coming out. People were loving it. More confidence grew. Game came out, reviewed extremely well. Of course, Game of the Year contender. My personal Game of the Year, even though I love Elden Ring as well. But
it was my community's Game of the Year as well. I did a Instagram vote, and there were 32 games, and I let an entire poll decide what the Game of the Year was. Guess what the 2 games were at the end? What do you think the 2 games from the brackets?
I want to say Elden Ring and God of War, but because you're asking this, was it Stray and God of War? What?
God of War and Warzone 2.
Of course.
Like, it's the same people that are also complaining about the game. I'm not talking about it.
Call of Duty sucks now. Warzone 2 sucks. Yeah, but it's top 2 in your thing.
The next podcast, I'm going on a rant about sequels. Yeah. Warzone 2 and Overwatch 2, I'm coming for you. I swear.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
I'm not talking about that right now, but tune in for the next podcast because I got something to say about that.
All right, so
again, God of War, absolutely amazing game.
Yeah,
but hopping into December. I mean, right now, end of the year, we got a ton of lawsuits coming at Microsoft, a ton of hurdles. They're being sued by the FTC for essentially their acquisition of Activision Blizzard because they think that they can and will withhold content from their gaming competitors to be able to get an edge over them, which they've committed to not doing. They even committed to signing a contract. Still not good enough. They're now being sued by PlayStation players.
Yeah. So somebody in one of my comments said it the best, and I had a nice little laugh about it. They said Xbox is getting 3v1 right now, right? They got PlayStation themselves trying to cock block the deal. They got the FTC now trying to block the deal and sue them. And now they have 10 gamers, they said in the article, 10 gamers coming together to sue Xbox for the same reason, for being anti-competitive, right? Well, when you look at the details of that, which I'm sure you did too, Dalton, you'll notice that 8 out of the 10 players are PlayStation gamers. The other 2 are PC, which you know is complete bullshit. This doesn't affect PC players at all. So you know it's 10 PlayStation gamers banding together to try to stop this thing. And I'm proud of Xbox. They shot back today. You want to talk about that?
All right, give me the rundown on what's going on. Microsoft clapped back.
So Microsoft and Activision together clapped back at the FTC about this whole thing, releasing like a bunch of graphs that we'll have popped up here on screen, just kind of showing like how ridiculous their claims are, right? So like looking at these graphs, you got the shares of Sony, Nintendo, and Xbox console units sold in 2021 with Xbox last place. You got Sony, Nintendo, and Xbox exclusive titles in 2021, again, with Xbox in last place with 10% to Nintendo's 40 and PlayStation's 50. Then you got Xbox share of global 2021 mobile gaming revenues, of which they have a little sliver of 0.3%. And then Xbox and ABK shares of global 2021 mobile gaming revenues, again, a very tiny sliver, right? Trying to like,
wow.
It's just ridiculous. And like we got some statements here from Bobby Kotick, who I'm not the biggest fan of, but I have to read it because it's the news.
Who is?
Yeah.
Who's a fan of Bobby Kotick? Let's be honest.
He said there's no sensible, legitimate reason for our transactions to be prevented from closing. Our industry has enormous competition and few barriers to entry. We have seen more devices than ever before, enabling players a wide range of choices to play games. Engines and tools are freely available to develop large and small. The breadth of distribution options for games has never been more widespread. We believe we will prevail on the merits of the case. And then Microsoft, Brad Smith, had this to say: even with confidence in our case, we remain committed to creative solutions with regulators that will protect competition, consumers, and workers in the tech sector. As we learned from our losses in the past, the door never closes on the opportunity to find an agreement that could benefit everyone. And again, as we talked about, they've done that. They were willing to sign a legally binding contract agreement, whatever, or consent or whatever, that they would release Call of Duty on all platforms, and FTC still shot that down. So you can tell, and like this is a big like 14-15 page document, something like that. You could read it for yourself. There's a lot of shots there that they're taking at the FTC about this, and rightfully so, because there is no reason that they can't accept that contract from Microsoft and push this deal through. Right? That's exactly what they want. They want Call of Duty to remain on all consoles. They're going to sign a contract saying that. And you said, no, it's okay. Like, come on, man.
No, yeah. I mean, it's crazy to think that you're saying to Microsoft that, oh, no, you're taking too much of the market share when they own, again, the slivers of market share. And they're really going to show that. Yep. I think that the Activision deal goes through.
Yeah.
I truly do.
I think it does.
I think it'll go through by middle to end of 2023 if these FTC deal or lawsuits can be handled swiftly.
Yeah. And like
the whole thing with the gamers, let's be honest, that's just a publicity stunt, like for these 10 gamers, you know what I mean?
They're trying to take advantage of the situation. That's never going to make it to court. I would be shocked if it did, but it won't. So I don't expect anything to come out of that. And I think at the end of the...
I mean, also a lot of their claims are very similar to the FTC.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this deal goes through. All this stuff is just pointless, like just trying to hold up the deal or whatever they're trying to do. Like, just have Microsoft sign a contract saying they won't make Call of Duty exclusive for all time and be done with it. Like, let's get this deal done, because I want to see those old Activision games come back to life. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
So, all right.
Yeah. That's 2022 in a nutshell.
2022 was absolutely crazy. But
I want to hear you. What's your biggest gaming prediction of 2023?
Biggest prediction. I said a couple already. So I said Tears of the Kingdom would have Game of the Year. Here's a big prediction, and I'm gonna say it because I hope it's true, that there's gonna be at least one more big Sony game coming out besides Spider-Man 2. That hasn't.
Okay.
It's not gonna be Wolverine, right? But I think it's gonna be either The Last of Us multiplayer game finally launching, or some other major massive IP that just comes out of nowhere. So I predict at least one more exclusive. What about you?
I've gone through a few of them. So again, the Activision deal will close in 2023. I think that Sony's focus in 2023 is PlayStation Plus. I think that VR really takes a step forward in 2023. With the PSVR 2 launching, you got the Oculus or the Meta Pro headset or whatever it's called. Very high quality like VR content and headsets both available now. So I think that becomes a little bit more mainstream in terms of games. you'll see a lot of games ported now to VR. I think that'll be super cool.
Which that's to touch on that. We're going to CES in a couple weeks. So we're gonna cover that, and we're gonna have a live podcast, or not a live one, but like together in person podcast.
Yes.
Super excited for that. But a lot of the brands that are reaching out to us on our emails that are saying they're going to be there are a lot of VR brands. I've seen Vive is going to show off a new headset. PSVR 2 is of course going to be there. We might see even more. So we're about to see the future of VR, and I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, again, I think 2023 continues to push VR forward. We've seen a year-over-year growth. And again, I think within the gaming industry, that's really what comes first in terms of like pop culture. Yeah. Like for VR to be widely accepted for people, it starts with gaming. So I think we'll see a lot more games for that this year.
For sure.
My winner of Game of the Year, I know that Zelda's releasing, but I think Spider-Man 2 is going to be absolutely beautiful, great storyline. I think that wins Game of the Year.
Yeah, we'll see. The only reason I'm hesitant on Spider-Man is because the first one was nominated, I believe. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. I hope it is. I hope it is. I would like to see at the end of the year, the Game of the Year contenders are Hogwarts Legacy, Spider-Man 2, and Tears of the Kingdom, and whatever else. But
yeah,
we'll see. Yeah, so that will do it for an exciting episode. Again, the next, hopefully, couple of podcasts are going to be me and Dalton together, and I cannot wait for that. So thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.